Our next presenter is from Henry County, Wendell Berry, who is no stranger to this place and to the people here and to readers here and elsewhere. Just to name a few, I'm sure many here could say they've read Jayber Crow, What Are People For? Far From the Madding Crowd. Was that yours? Yeah. You know, I have to say that's my favorite. It's real good. I look forward to the movie. Dinner's on you next time, by the way. I know how that works. But we're very pleased to have the Berries here to make the next presentation. But before I say that, I do not want to fail to mention that the beautiful presentation bowl that was just given was created here in Washington County by Albert Ballman. The next presentation bowl was made very far away in Mercer County by Mike Frasca. But anyway, without further ado, Wendell Berry.
Thank you. Yes, sir. If there's any credit lying around that Thomas Hardy doesn't need, I'm glad to have it. Well, I'm tempted now to make a speech to say how encouraged I am by this event and you people. But I'm here on other business. My memory associates only two complete surprises with my daughter, Mary. Her birth, of course, was not a surprise, for I was adequately notified. But the immense happiness I felt when I first saw her safely born did completely surprise me. For that, nothing in my previous experience had at all prepared me. The second large surprise was her decision after college to return to Henry County and live among us. After all, there's a time in every girl's life between the ages of 5 and 19 or 20, and she would like to have, and perhaps has a right to have, normal parents. Not two misfits with a composting privy and no TV. There is a time when no good-looking girl wishes to be seen doing farm chores in the mud or dust of a substandard hillside farm. I read the signs and concluded that I would sometimes see my daughter as a stranger, professional, accomplished, successful, and of course looking like $1 million in New York or San Francisco. My surprise at her rejection of such a possibility was followed by a result, both ordinary and wonderful. She, her mother, and I have lived our lives from then until now as neighbors and friends. And because she chose to live among us, so have her girls, Katie and Virginia and Tanya, lived among us. When I say among us, I'm including as us Mary's brother Den, his family, and many other dear ones, living and dead. When Mary started the Berry Center and took up in her turn the cause that had been my father's and then my brother's and mine, though I had not, and even carefully had not, expected her to do any such thing, I was not surprised. After all, I knew her. I knew pretty well her mind and her heart, her history and her influences. And so my thought, when I learned what she was going to do and was doing, was only, well, of course. And here, a person of some evident authority around here has told me that I ought to wing it a minute, which scares me, but I've got to do it. That I must say something about what the Berry Center is. Now, I have somewhat carefully not learned everything about what the Berry Center is, because my objective with respect to the Berry Center is to shirk. But I know that Mary started this work, this effort, this organization, because she had been on a number of agricultural committees dealing with more or less official people and farmers, and realized that the tobacco program, the Burley Tobacco Growers Cooperative Association, that my father had been involved in virtually all his life, was not only defeated and done for, but forgotten. And she felt rightly, a number of us think, that that program can be imitated and can be serviceable again. That its purpose to give a decent livelihood to small farmers, at which it succeeded for a long time, that its purpose to give the small producer the same protection on the market as the big producer, also succeeded for a long time. And so that, I think, that impulse to do something for the farmers that motivated my father, my brother, and me, passed on to her, and I'm awfully gratified that it did. And I was also gratified last spring when I went to speak to the Organic Valley annual meeting to discover that Organic Valley was organized by Wisconsin ex-tobacco farmers on the same principle as the old tobacco program. Those farmers have allotments, and the agreement is that much will be received by the organization. That's a saving idea. It's the only agricultural economic idea that can save small farmers, or maybe even big farmers. You know, the size at which you go under has been increasing. Of course, I'm delighted, elated, in many ways honored, in some ways relieved, to think of Mary as a friend, neighbor, and ally. But I want to say plainly that though I often feel familiar with the syntax of her sentences, I know I must not think of her as having taken her place simply in a family succession. It is true that we belong to a local and familial history concentrated during a significant period on the protection of the growers of burley tobacco. But we belong also to a lineage of thought and advocacy going back to Homer in the Bible. This, in both the written and the oral traditions, has been a lineage of practical visionaries, sustaining the hope that land and people, farm families on small farms, the human community within the land community, might prosper together in the good health that is the gift of nature. I know that the people of that lineage have faced a lot of discouragement and suffered a lot of adversity. I am sure that just the survival of their vision has been a considerable success. And I'm sure that Mary could not have chosen an allegiance more honorable or work that is more necessary. Now I need to say how appropriate it is that Mary's mother joins me in the presentation of this award. Nobody has better understood the agrarian vision or served it more wholeheartedly or lived it more fully than Tanya. And I need to thank that great bluegrass band, Sister Claire and the New Pioneers, for the gift of this generous occasion.
Well, I have the feeling that anything I say will be not worthy of what was just said, really for the whole evening. I can't tell you how grateful I am, but I will tell you that I don't deserve such an award. I think that I could be blindfolded and spun around and just point and find people in this room that are more deserving than I am. So that said, I am going to be, if it's not against the rules, Sister Claire, I'm going to accept this award with much gratitude, and I'm going to share it with my dear friend Leah Bayens, who has taken a hold of the Berry Farm program here at St. Catherine and breathed life into it and worked, I don't know how many hours a week, 80, I don't know, for 3 years. Is it longer than that now? For 3 years. And so I would ask, what did you just say? Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Leah, I'm sure everybody knows, but if you'll stand and... That's right. So how we're going to cut this bowl in two, I don't know, but I'm older than you. I expect I'll keep it. To my dear parents, I will say that I was asked once at a conference many, many years ago, one of the first public things I ever did, what it was like to be a Berry child, and I said, except for the constant humiliation, it was fine. The composting privy, which my husband and I now have, not the same one, but we have one, was just pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back. But anyway, I've forgiven them and moved on. So, Sister Claire, I understand that nobody can say no to you, so I think what you did was say to your board, okay, I think it's Mary, and they said, okay. But I thank you. I thank the board. I thank the Dominican Sisters of Peace for their support of our program here. My colleagues, Michelle Guthrie and Katie Ellis, are here with me. Without them, the Berry Center would not have survived to this point, and I thank them. And my husband is here, who if I had had any sense back when I was complaining about composting privies and work and pretty much everything else I could think of, he is the companion that I would have dreamed of if I'd had the sense then to know such a thing. So I'm so glad to have him here with me. So let me just say just a little something about what it's like to be here for me. This work that we have all chosen, all of us in this room, to protect what is precious, what is sacred, what we depend on, is hard. It is often hard. I have found it difficult sometimes to work in the community that I'm from. People don't always rise up and call you blessed because you've chosen a certain way. But along the way, and this evening, really riding down here with my parents and my husband, knowing that my co-workers, Michelle and Katie, were on the way also, made me think about this, that the unexpected joys that come from this work, the companionship of all of you all, of my family, of people all over the country that I go to and speak to groups and find good people of good intention working on the things that we're working on here. So we're occasionally feel lonely but are not alone. And I thank you all, and I thank the community here. And let me end with just one more little word about the St. Catherine community, the community of St. Catherine College. When I came here for the first time, my friend Morris Grubbs brought me here, told me I ought to have a look at this little school. I'd spent some time looking at colleges all over the state. And I came here, and the first question I remember that was asked of me was, how does your work at the Berry Center fit with the work of the Dominican Sisters of Peace? And I thought at that point, that is exactly the right question. We will join them in their good work. And I have felt blessed and strengthened by them every day. So I thank you all. I don't deserve this. I'm going to say it again, just so I don't regret later not have said it again, but I do thank you. Thank you so much.